This is TWiT.
Tech Break is brought to you by our friends at IT Pro TV, now called ACI Learning. From CompTIA, Cisco, and Microsoft to security and cloud fundamentals, your team can master it all with IT Pro from ACI Learning. TWiT listeners can receive up to 65% off an IT Pro Enterprise Solution Plan. Based on your team's size, you'll receive a properly quoted discount tailored to your needs. Visit go.acilearning.com/twit today. Beeper is out officially. You even get a blue bubble. This is an app. Actually, I think
Beeper Mini specifically.
Yeah.
Beeper Mini, brand new.
What is Beeper Mini?
They pre-briefed The Verge and Quinn Nelson at Snazzy Labs YouTube channel about this, and they're really good video and a really good story about it. This is based on an open source project that they bought that they're keeping open source.
A 16-year-old kids open source project.
Python.
This is not just another. Hey, look, someone thinks that they figured out how to let Androids send messages through iMessage
by setting up a Mac virtual machine in a data center that anybody can read.
Are they still doing that?
No. This is not that. This 16-year-old says that, and according to the company, reverse engineered iMessage. They recreated all the code with a jailbroken. Again, according to interviews they've given to The Verge and one other person, like they reverse engineered the entire thing. There is no middleman. There is no middle server. There's no translation. Your Android phone is simply sending and receiving iMessages using the iMessage protocol, including end-to-end encryption, including group chat features, including high definition everything. You even get a blue bubble. Your friends. This is not just in The Verge, but I also from another couple of people I know that got early access to it. Like their first reaction from friends is, did you switch to an iPhone? Why are you now a blue bubble, or is this now not you anymore? So it will remain to be seen. If it's a $2 service, $2 monthly service, and they're thinking about adding extra services as they go.
I'm just going to say this:
it's a separate app.
Do not buy a 1-year subscription. Stick to the monthly subscription.
The question is, like, is Apple going to quash this like a bug? Secondly, is this why Apple, of course, had to know that this was in the works? Maybe this is why they finally caved on RCS, because they said we can make this irrelevant if we simply add those features to the basic iMessage app.
This must be a shock for Apple, and I have a feeling there will be an update pretty damn quick.
Okay, so, and I highly recommend Quinn Nelson's video. It's really good. He goes into a lot of technical detail. According to Beeper and according to Quinn's video, here's the thing. They are using Apple's device registration system to register an Apple ID as part of the system and get back credentials, which are then generate a certificate. This is the same system that every other device uses. So their feeling is, and we'll see if there's some hitch here, but their feeling is that Apple actually can't shut this off because they would have to completely re-architect how devices authenticate with Apple IDs. Yeah. So they feel like they actually have they're using Apple's system. Also, you might say, well, if Apple has technical limitations here, what about legal ramifications? There's a carve out for exactly this, for reverse engineering a system like this without using their code. It's actually legal under the DMCA.
Is it?
So
because they're reverse engineering.
There is a specific call out for reverse engineering closed systems like this.
So it's legal
in the DMCA. So Beeper says, Beeper says that it's going to be hard, never say never. And we don't know, we can't see their code. We can only see the Python code that's open source. But it seems like this is going to be harder for Apple to address unless Apple has a new authentication system waiting in the wings that they're ready to just slide on in, or that it might take time, or there's something that they haven't accounted for that will allow them to disrupt this, but not everybody else. Because see, that's the trick here is if Apple's recourse is to break a certain thing or change a certain thing, the danger is they're going to break their own legitimate customers' products, and they can't do that. Yeah. So we'll see. I would also probably not invest a long-term amount of money in the Beeper Mini app, but it is clever how they did it, and the fact that it's even the proof of concept is open sourced shows that they're not trying to hide a bug in Apple's system here. They're literally just logging into Apple's system and then using iMessage.
Yeah. I'm very interested. I will install it on my Pixel as soon as I get home. And
just to make it clear to people, you don't need an Apple ID. You install the app. It will go into your messages with your message. Find anything that's basically being sent via iMessage. Bring that into this separate app that it is, and suddenly all of those incoming iMessages go directly.
You'll get the two-factor pop up on your Apple device saying, "Hey, somebody's trying to log in." You enter the 6 digits. It looks exactly like you're logging in from another iPhone.
Yeah. This looks. I mean, it looks like everything you would want for this feature to happen.
Yeah.
And as Jason says, it might be so difficult for Apple to shut this out that they're probably having discussions right now about how if this really is a surprise to them, is like, how much is this going to hurt us really, that there is this extra service that is not built in as a default on any of these other platforms or operating systems. Of course, if they were to cut a deal with Samsung and say, oh, by the way, Beeper Mini is now we're integrating that technology into the messaging app, like, then that could be like,
I'll tell you what the exact calculus,
unleash the hounds of war.
The exact calculus at this point from Apple is, A, could we do it technically? And you might be right, they can't, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's ways to do it technically. B, what's the political cost of doing this? Because that really is monopolistic behavior as soon as you do it.
Good point.
Right. And that's part of the card game that Beeper is playing here is, do you want to be seen as trying via legal recourse, via technical recourse, to crush somebody who's just trying to bring iMessage and serve another platform? Let's add to it. I think there's a psychology at Apple that comes from Steve Jobs, which is they hate watching other people make money on their stuff. So the fact that Beeper is charging for this, I think that it will infuriate them too.
I guarantee you.
What's the recourse?
There's people running around the campus going crazy. And there's engineers who have been tasked to figure out how to stop this. Yeah. But the third thing is, how many people are using this? I don't know if there's a way for them to know that. They may not be able to tell. But what is the cost to us of this happening? And given the political cost of fighting it, if not that many people use it, I don't think they're going to say, well, we're just going to, it's de minimis. We're going to let it go.
I think there's a possibility. You take the risk of having a Streisand effect, where if this is this app that has to market on their own, it has to reach iPhone people on their own, that's one thing. But if Apple makes all of these steps to make this a hated party, now, wow, you mean there's a way that I can actually do iMessage? I was going to switch to the iPhone for exactly this reason, but I did not. Thank you, Apple. Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah. That's somebody saying in the Discord, just look at the Play Store downloads. They can get at least a thumbnail of, if you see 1 million people downloading Beeper Mini, Apple's going to be much more interested in taking action than if you see 10,000 people downloading it. So that's I think
I give it 3 months on the inside, 6 months on the outside. By the time they get to WWDC, it's gone.
Yeah, I fully believe Apple can technically do it.
And they will.
I do think there's a big concern, given the regulatory climate, that there's a cost to doing it. So really it's going to come down to, does the cost of doing it outweigh the loss, the opportunity cost of all these people using it? If 1 million people use it, you're right, Alex, they'll shut it down.
I think you're right. I think that's going to be part of their calculus too, because that would be a wonderful defense to have in their tool belt when they call. People do have our users do have an option if Android users want to participate in iMessage. There's a third-party solution. It works very well.
And we allow it.
We tried really hard to crush it, but we decided not to spend $1 trillion to buy out the company.
Their argument's going to be that the blue bubble tells you that you're at a certain level of security because you're interacting with another iMessage.
It breaks their security.
It breaks the security, and they're gonna secure that. But that's their argument.
That would be a lie, but they might say that.
Well, allowing it to have a third party have access to their message system,
but it doesn't.
Jason, you don't know how secure that
certificates.
You don't know how secure that Android is. According to the company,
they are using. Well, that's. I mean, I guess, but how secure is a Mac that's using iMessage either?
Well, Apple thinks it's very secure, and they think the Android is terrible.
I said, they can fib about it all they want. They can say, oh, well, the problem is that it's on Android, which is fundamentally insecure. But what they will not be able to say, at least according to what we know, is that the old argument, which was, all of these services are fundamentally insecure because there's a middleman who is translating your information and sending it onto your phone. Yeah. That's not happening here. And that's why this is an interesting, I don't know. Again, I would not invest in this company either, but it is putting Apple in a bit of a spot because if Apple crushes it, it looks bad for them, but they may still need to crush it, and how they crush it is an issue, and they can't maybe legally crush it. And if they have to do, I mean, imagine if they realize they have to actually reprioritize some of their resources in order to get the login credentials stuff to be different, because they can't just pull the plug. Like, that's a huge deal inside Apple, where they have to make an effort and spend a lot of money to fix this.
The analog is the DVD. John's cracking the encryption DCSS on DVDs. There was no way to fix that without breaking every DVD player. So the movie industry just had to live with it, and they never were able to fix that.
Well, they were able to make it illegal to circumvent digital copy protection during the.
They went to the DMCA.
Copyright.
That's right. Yeah.
They could say, so basically we have that fallacy where we have the right from the Sony Betamax case to translate, to basically transmogrify something we bought onto another format for our convenience or for a backup. But we have another law that says that if they protect it in such a way that it would break the DMCA, I'm not allowed to do that, which is why we get back to, sometimes it feels like you almost have an ethical sword and shield at your back. Yeah. But yeah, this is, I'm kind of in between. I think that I don't know how this is going to play out. Like if they were, let's say that I would be willing to spend $2 a month on a month-by-month basis. I would not necessarily buy the annual subscription yet.
Exactly my point.
But man, because they're it's just I'm sorry, I'll wrap this up, but they're being really bold. They're almost saying, "Oh no, please Apple, tell us that it's insecure. We're willing to show everybody exactly that we're using the exact same security product." Oh, no. Oh, really? We'd be very happy to demonstrate that we used complete documented clean room technology to actually create this. That your argument is going to come all the way down to, we don't want people to use iMessage, and we're willing to crush anybody who tries.
I have a feeling that Apple,
they feel a little bit bold. That's what it seems like.
I have a feeling that I don't know what Apple will do either. If it was me, I wouldn't even kill it. I would just make it glitchy.
Slightly unreliable.
All you have to do is have people not get 5 or 6 messages in a day, and they'll just stop using it. Like, you don't have to kill it. You don't have to make any announcement. You just have to be like, well, it's a weird app, and not have to. Like, the way to kill it is just a little bit of poison, not all of it.
Yeah, which episode are we going to be talking about how iMessage on iPhones has become really glitchy because people are losing messages, and nobody can really explain why.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I should point out that the product I use and have recommended for a long time, iMessage, which is open source and does not charge, runs on your Mac at home as a server, Apple's done nothing about. So, maybe the difference will be the $2 a month. Maybe Apple is just going to say it's not worth it to fight this. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
If I were a betting man, I would take your money now, but let's not.